Hello, welcome back for today's session about the conceptual frameworks for the Horn of African Gateway Railway Network Connection Investment. The core concept is the Horn of Africa's Gateway Railway Network is envisioned as an integrated multimodal regional transport systems centered on Addis Ababa and connecting Ethiopia's major economic and population center with five strategic international gateway corridors: Djibouti, Berbera, Somalia, Sudan, Kenya, and Eritrea. In the conceptual framework is listed as uh, starting from Sudan or Port Sudan. Then we will get Sudan Gateway, moving to Gondar and Metama, and move Waldia, and move, just say, Kombolcha, and move Debre Birhan, and move the center of Addis Ababa, the central hub, which also has two branches with Djibouti and Berbera brand. The Djibouti uh, gateway is moving, connect with Teredoa, Djibouti port. From Berbera is move Teredoa on the same Jigjiga, moving to Berbera port. The The Kenya Gateway is moved into Hawassa, Moyale, Nairobi, and lastly, Mombasa or Lumi. Lastly, Red Sea Gateway is northern Ethiopia, Eritrea, with two parties, Assab into Mesawa. So the vision of this point is to establish an integrated Horn of Africa railway and logistic networks that positions Ethiopia as a regional transport hubs and connecting the economies of the Horn of Africa to multiple international seaports and global markets. And the mission is to develop, coordinate, and progressively integrate national and cross-border railway corridors with the highways, dry ports, logistics centers, and industrial zones, border facilities, and seaports, enabling efficient movements of people, goods, and services throughout the Horn of Africa. The overall goal is also to create a diversified and resilient regional railway gateway systems that reduces transport costs and also logistic barriers, strengthen regional trades, improve access to international markets, and promote economic integration across the Horn of Africa. And this project also currently has a five strategic gateway corridors depend on the Ethiopian neighboring countries. But in addition, the Puntland is can be the sixth ones. The gateway one is Djibouti corridors from Addis Ababa, Doredoa, Djibouti. So the strategic role is primary eastern gateway for Ethiopia international flights in connection to the Gulf of Aden. The key function is to containerizing flights, import, export, logistics, passenger movements, industrial supply chains, and international maritime connection. The gateway two is Berbera corridors, which means Somali, in addition to the Puntland also, from Addis Ababa, Doredoa, Djibouti, Berbera ports. So the strategic role is develop an alternative eastern gateway, linking Ethiopian eastern economic region with the Berbera and the Gulf of Aden, which means the Indian Ocean and Gulf of Aden. Key function is livestock and agricultural products, container flight, regional trade, dry ports, connectivity, and access to maritime markets. Strategic hub is Doredoa, Jigjiga logistics axis. Third gateway is Sudan, Port Sudan corridor. Start from Addis Ababa, Debre Birhan, Dese and Kombolcha, Waldia, Gondar, Metama, Sudan, Port Sudan. Strategic role is creating a northern-western international railway connection and an alternate route to Red Sea. Key functions are agricultural, freight, industrial goods, mineral resources, cross-border commerce, and access to Port Sudan. This corridor should be treated as a long-term international corridor require detailed feasibility studies, border agreements, and security assessments because this region has a decades of or centuries of the conflict of interest because lack of marking of the border. All of the neighboring countries have their claim, even the communities, the farmers also have claiming, even the same country or the one country to another country. And the investors from another country also has claiming these sites by having investors, and then they are already establishing the military groups. Because of that, the peace agreement must be a critical one. That's why this Africa has slowed down by civilization is a conflict of the proxy war. So when we establish this connectivity investment technology, this conflict of interest will be a key solution. Fourth, Gateway 4, the Kenya corridor, Addis Ababa, Mojo, Hawassa, Arbaminch, Moyale, Nairobi, and Mombasa, Lumu. The strategy connects Ethiopia with the Eastern Africa Community Transport System in India Ocean ports. Lumu is the port one. The key function is regional passenger movement, agricultural export, industrial flights, tourism, access to Mombasa Lumu port. Gateway 5 Eritrea Red Sea Corridor, Northern Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Asab or Masuwa. The strategic role is provide a potential additional Red Sea gateway and strengthen the northern Horn of Africa connectivity. The key function is maritime trade, North Ethiopia logistic, regional passenger movement, ports, diversification, and Red Sea connection. This corridor is the future strategic concept depends on the political normalization, bilateral agreements, technical feasibility, and border agreements. This site also have similar political and military and conflict of interest issues like the Sudan part. So that's why we just invest on it. So the technology and investment is a solution for the conflict of interest. The network structure. The framework should have four levels as a temporary. Level one is the central hub. It can be Addis Ababa or somewhere. The central hub may be assembled as all of the states or provinces, and they can also disseminate into all of the gateway ports, by the way. But right now, for example, we take as Addis Ababa Central Hub, then which is the National Railway Logistics Administration and Passenger Hub Service. Level 2 is National Corridors. Connects Addis Ababa with North Ethiopia, East, Southern, and Western or Northwest Ethiopia. Level 3 International Corridors connects the national system with Djibouti, Berbera, Sudan, Kenya, Eritrea, and Puntland also. Level 4 is the Maritime Gateway. Connect the railway systems to the Djibouti port, Berbera port, Port Sudan, Lumu, Asad, and Massawa. Next, the supporting infrastructure. The railway should be developed as a railway plus logistic ecosystem, not simply as a track, as ecosystem. So which has a structure like on the top is regional railway network, which is three parts: railway, dry and logistic hubs, and this in parallel also have three industrial park, border terminal, and agricultural center. This all sum up into seaports and lastly, global market is the structure. So what's the strategic objective? Which has diversified international trade routes through the five gateway corridors, reduced depends on the single maritime gateway connecting major Ethiopian production and consumption center, integrate railway roads, dry ports, and port infrastructure, increase the regional trade and economic integration, reduce flights, transport costs and journey times, improve cross-border passenger connectivity, support industrialization and agricultural commercialization, create logistic and economic development corridors around the railway hubs, establish interoperable cross-border railway standard and operations. Next, what are the conceptual development phases? The phase maybe has 5 or 6 phases within the main focus. The phase one is strengthen Addis, Djibouti, and existing railway infrastructure is first. Phase two is develop Addis, Debre Berhan, Desse, Woldia, Northern Backbone. Phase three is extend Woldia, Gondar, Metama towards Sudan. And phase four is develop Addis to Redwa, Djibouti, Berbera corridor. Phase five, develop Addis, Hawassa, Moyale, Kenya corridor. And six, integrate northern Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sea corridor. And phase four, integrate all five railways into a unified regional railway logistics. Similarly, with strengthening with Addis, Djibouti, and existing railway infrastructure, the Mekelle Hara, Dasi Hara infrastructure also has Djibouti infrastructure will be included as a second railway investment in Ethiopia. So this will be the first step. After strengthening the prime investment, we will expand into the next phases. What are the strategic models? The entire concept can be summarized as central hubs, national railway backbone, 5 international gateway, 5 maritime system, and the global market is our model, or simply one regional railway network, 5 gateways, multiple ports, and one integrated Horn of Africa logistics systems. So planning is that this is a conceptual framework. So confirming engineering alignment is need to be on the practical one with approving with the known institutions is critical. So the exact roads, the station, border crossing, and port connection should be established through the corridor feasibility study. Note that the feasibility study means agreeable site selection. It depends on the country. For instance, Ethiopia may have a different capital city or regional capital cities, and also the industrial park, mining, in agricultural sites installation. Depend on that, the route of this railway path is on feasible changing from one route into another route. It will be open for this one. The engineering survey is open, environmental and social assessment, economic analysis, and also intergovernmental agreement will be also a good opportunistic options. So thank you very much. See you soon.